Welcome everyone to the Avengenerds podcast, where we talk Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and more. I'm your host Torrin, and with me is our co-host Peyton.
Yo,
we have a great show for everyone this week. We're talking about the best and worst of 2023 in the news of the week. We time codes in the description or the show notes if you want to jump around. And with that, here's Peyton with the news.
Starting off with some podcast news. First of all, we hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. Whoop whoop. Hip hip hooray.
Real.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for that. And also, this will be the last podcast of the year. So we're going to go on a little break for Crema, and then we're going to be back in the new year. So we're going to be taking a couple weeks off, but we'll be back with more content, getting real close, inching to that 100 episode mark. So, be here for that when that comes around. But we got some real news. This is some DC news. This is according to Daniel RPK. Supergirl will appear in Superman Legacy, and they are currently casting the role. Sasha Calle will not reprise her role as the character.
Understandable.
It is understandable.
Very understandable.
I really like Sasha Calle in the role. I was really hoping that she'd they bring her back for the solo Supergirl movie, but considering they seem to just want to just leave the DCEU behind nearly completely, I mean, I can't blame them for this. I can't blame them for this at all. Like, it sucks. It's a loss, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm excited for Supergirl. I want to see how she is. But yeah, I think Sasha was pretty good in the Supergirl role that we got. But I'm all for a new Supergirl.
I just find it funny that James Gunn was like, it's the best thing you'll ever see. The Flash is amazing. And then when it comes time to do it Supergirl, he's like, you know what?
Dude, no. I know like what James Gunn was feeling when he wrote that. He was like, he was cringing right in that tweet, bro. He was like, dude, like I gotta do it. I don't want to do it, but I got it.
Job security.
Yeah.
This is according to Deadline. Sean Gunn has been cast as Maxwell Lord in James Gunn's DCU. He will be referenced in the background of Superman Legacy, but will appear in future DC projects. Now, if anyone is listening and they're like, who the hell is Maxwell Lord? If you've seen Wonder Woman 1984, it's the character Pedro Pascal played. And, anytime someone even close to James Gunn gets cast, the whole world crumbles and people are like, oh my god, nepotism, as if every other director doesn't do the same thing. They're like, oh, who's his wife gonna play now? Oh, they got his brother in here. Oh, like, calm down.
Yeah, and I don't get why people are acting like as if like he hasn't been doing this for like a decade. Yeah,
and now you have Snyder fans like acting as if they liked Wonder Woman 1984 or like Wonder Woman 1984 was some fantastic movie or whatever. It's like, yeah, it was Pedro Pascal, but like, and at least in my opinion, he was the best part of that movie. But to just bring that character, that version of the character over, it doesn't make any sense. And people are just sort of assuming that like, because Maxwell Lord is a relatively obscure comic character, and I think people are taking what they saw from Pedro Pascal and they're like, well, Sean Gunn is gonna suck at that. It's a completely different character, to be honest. It's not Maxwell Lord is not necessarily like Pedro Pascal's version. He's a lot more in the gray, but it'll be fine. But Sean Gunn's gonna be playing Maxwell Lord, and he's still Weasel. So he's going to be playing two characters, but it's like, it's no different than when he was both Kraglin and Rocket. So
yeah,
the whole Discord, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. People are just angry to be angry. Some Marvel news. I was going to talk about some Deadpool 3 news, but then I realized that it's probably a bit of a spoiler, and good thing I took it out, because Ryan Reynolds was all like, hey, don't, there's set photos and stuff going around. Hey, maybe don't share it. And then in Ryan Reynolds fashion, he posted some photoshopped set photos of like Mickey Mouse on set and shit. And they're like, man, he was like, man, it would be a shame if people started sharing these around and, you know, putting hashtag Deadpool leaks to flood the algorithm so all the actual leaks get buried. I love Ryan Reynolds. He's fantastic. But just be careful for spoilers, because they clearly do want to shoot this stuff outside in practical environments rather than on a green screen or in the volume, which, you know, good. So it sucks, but this kind of set photo taking is kind of par for the course, and a lot of people are saying like this is probably why they even started shooting shit inside in the first place, especially with Marvel, because they're so secretive. And it's like, I can't that would make sense. But this is according to Deadline. The writers room for the live action Silk series will continue in January. We talked about, I think it was last week, how because of the writer strike and stuff like that, it sort of halted production on a lot of things, and Amazon was playing hardball with the writers room for Silk. But it looks like they've gotten stuff resolved, and the Silk series will continue production in January. So that's really, really exciting. This is also according to Deadline. The Spider-Man Noir series is moving forward with Steve Lightfoot, who is the showrunner for The Punisher, as co-showrunner alongside Oren Uziel, who wrote 22 Jump Street. So pretty exciting. Spider-Man Noir series. We're going to get a Spider-Man Noir series and a Silk series.
Yeah, but I heard that Spider-Man Noir isn't going to be like Peter Parker. It's going to be someone else. So I think that's going to be pretty bad.
Oh, if it's not comic accurate.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, what? I mean, like, why would you make a Spider-Man Noir series if Noir is not even Peter Parker? I don't know, man. I'm not liking it, bro. I don't want to see it. I'm kidding. But yeah, I have seen those as well, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do with Silk, because, you know, there's not really much Silk content. We all know Silk for that one thing. So
yeah, that one thing.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. But this is exciting. The fact that we're actually getting, you know, spider related characters, and Sony seems like Sony really just needs to start giving their stuff to other people. Like when they gave Spider-Man to the MCU, we got great shit. When they gave Spider-Man to their animation team, we got incredible shit. Where they're giving their stuff to Amazon, it seems, obviously we don't know yet, but at least we're not getting fucking Morbius. You know what I mean? When Sony does stuff in-house, they just do not know what the fuck to do, because people can't, we shall not forget that The Boys is Sony, produced by Amazon. So like, giving it to other people is just the way to go for Sony, because they do not know what they're doing. But other people do. So I was gonna say hopefully they learn, but they won't. They'll never learn. But Bethesda and Arcane are working on a Blade game. It was revealed at the Game Awards. Bethesda is publishing it. Arcane is the developers behind Deathloop and the Dishonored series. And now they're making a Blade game. It's going to be a third-person action adventure set in Paris. It sounds awesome. And Marvel seems to just be going full force into the gaming department after the success of Spider-Man 2018, and we got a lot of games on the horizon. You know, outside of, you know, the Spider-Man sequel that hopefully comes sooner rather than later. Spider-Man sequel, a Blade game. We're getting the Wolverine game. We're getting an Iron Man game. We're getting like 2 different Black Panther games with Captain America is in one of them. Like we're eating good as Marvel fans of the gaming scene. At least it seems that way. So super, super exciting. But do you have any thoughts on that, or is that the news of the week?
I have no thoughts about it. I'm just excited to see what they say.
All right, then that means it's time to move on to our topic, which is of course the best and worst movies and TV shows of 2023. Torn, start us off, please.
So, I wish I had saw more movies. To be honest, I wish I had some more movies. Of course, first one, it's gonna be Oppenheimer. Obviously, great everything. The movie is absolutely phenomenal. You know, even when it felt like 3 hours, it's still one of the shortest movies I've seen this year. Great score, great acting. I love the use of practical effects. and like a little bit of that CGI, and it's just overall, it was a blast seeing it in theaters. I loved it. I loved it as well.
Yes. Yeah, that was a fantastic time. Oppenheimer was incredible. I've seen the movie twice now, and it's just as good the second time. It still flies by just as much. Oh, it's so good. It looks gorgeous. The story is told beautifully. The pacing's phenomenal. Again, like you said, for a 3-hour film, it does not feel like that. And just anyone that knows the history behind it, it takes some liberties here and there, but generally it's pretty accurate to the real thing. They also even subtly acknowledge certain historical events that historians argue about. Just super cool shit. If you're a fan of history and especially that era, it was fantastic. Yeah, definitely. For me, one of the better movies I saw, technically it's a documentary, but still a Michael J. Fox movie. It was a documentary, about Michael J. Fox. It was sort of this came out. I think this came out in like early in the year, like February, March, April, something around there. Maybe it was January. Still, it was. No pun intended. Jesus. It was a fantastic documentary chronicling Michael J. Fox's rise as a star and then getting his diagnosis of Parkinson's. And it was really difficult because Michael J. Fox is one of my favorite actors of all time. He's just brilliant. And it was difficult for me to see him like that because his Parkinson's has as it's progressed, Parkinson's it's one of those diseases that just gets worse and worse. And although apparently there have been some strides made in that area, I saw an interview with him recently. He was looking really good. So that's awesome. He could have just been having a good day, because that does happen. But if that trend keeps going on with that disease, that's truly incredible, because Parkinson's is one of those things that it does not have a cure. It barely has any treatments. It really sucks. So yeah, everything about this documentary made me really emotional. The fact that he has Parkinson's in the first place. He says in the movie that he's like in constant pain because of it, and the fact that he still manages to take it in stride, and he's still like Michael J. Fox, he's quippy, he's funny, he's jovial a lot of the time. It's just it's bittersweet, you know what I mean? And yeah, it was one of the better movies I saw this year.
Yeah, I will have to check that out. I mean, I'm not a fan of like documentaries just because of usually just how like the style is of documentaries. But with Michael J. Fox, I know that's something that's like pretty different. I've seen like clips of it for sure.
It's on Apple TV Plus, if anyone's curious.
Well, damn. Never mind. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. My next one is, I'm getting on all the obvious ones first. It's Barbie. Blew everything out the water.
Mid.
Woke. I'm tired of seeing politics in my movies and women. This is what an incel would say. But
I want to see men.
Oh yeah, I want to see the patriarchy. I want to see more horses. But no, like everyone did incredible in this film. Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling especially. I love the theme and the story that it told, and of course, like with it being a Barbie movie, I wasn't sure like how they were gonna do something like that, but obviously they did really well, and I love the story it told once again.
Yeah. Brilliant film. We saw it together with double feature with Oppenheimer. I saw it again with my mom, and then I saw it again. I've seen the movie 3 times, and yeah, again, it's one of those. It's just like Oppenheimer. It's just as good the third time around. It was kind of fun watching it with subtitles, because there's some stuff that just sort of, you can't hear at a theater because other people are laughing or whatever. But yeah, Barbie was truly a triumph. It's such a jarring film, like because you have an idea of what a movie usually is, and when you see all the Barbie sets and stuff like that in Barbie Land, it's just like, holy shit. Like just the start of that film, like it really sets the tone of what the movie is and the ride you're going to go on, and it's just brilliant. I do have my issues with the film. Like I'm still not a huge fan of the Will Ferrell stuff. I do like the fan theory though that they're like all Allens that like escaped, and they sort of run shit now, and that's why they're fucking weird and incompetent. I like that idea still though. I wasn't a huge fan of them, which it's literally like my only gripe of the movie. Other than that, it's beautifully shot, beautifully written, stories beautifully told, beautifully acted, especially from Margot Robbie and America Ferrera. Like just incredible film. For me, next is, I can't really put it in best or worst, to be honest. If there's like, it's just a movie. It's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. You know.
Oh yeah.
It's there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely there.
I do enjoy this movie, like probably more than most, but I acknowledge that it's not great.
Yeah, yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, I was seeing it, for my birthday, or kind of like around there. Hey, how's it going? Sorry,
Came out in February,
I
think.
No, okay, no. We were actually, no, it wasn't for my birthday. My fault. It was kind of like a group activity type of thing, and my friend had saw it before that, and she didn't really like it, and she was like, yeah, she kind of like told me like what happened, which it's like I didn't mind like spoilers, because like I wanted to see how I would feel about it. And then so it was also like around the time where people were shitting on Marvel, so I'm just like, all right, well, like I'm gonna walk into this movie and I'm probably gonna like it because I like Marvel, I like this stuff. And I walked out of the movie and I'm like, yeah, this could have been better. And I'm just, I admit to say that this movie was not the best. Like, it's not good. And then also, like, when it released on, like DVD and everything else like that, I started seeing stills on Twitter, and I'm like, yeah, this movie is bad. Like, it's not the best. But like, I mean, it's there, and it's like I can appreciate some aspects from it, but yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it has its highlights, but generally it falls flat in most of the things it tries to attempt. Part of what makes the Ant-Man films like fun is its comedy and its charm, and that was lacking in it. The action was lacking, the visuals were lacking. Like most of the stuff, I wouldn't even, I can't necessarily, at least in my opinion, I can't even call it bad. I think I might have said it in our review. It's just the movie was filled with a ton of missed potential. Like I can see things and ideas in that movie that I'm like, expand on this, expand on that. Why are we just flying through like this without, I don't know. It should have been better. It should have been better. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. My next one, instead of just doing the obvious, I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna say it's Totally Killer. Totally Killer was an absolute blast of a movie. I think you should watch it, but knowing how you are, you probably won't do that. So basically, it's like a kind of like a horror comedy, and it's about like this girl who goes back in time to like kind of like save her mom from being murdered by like these like kind of like this like known like legend of the serial killer back in the 80s and stuff like that. I think it's really funny. It's definitely like a nice take on the slasher like genre as a whole. And it's also kind of like a whodunit story type of thing as well. Still with, so has like some mystery. I liked it a lot. It's on Amazon. I definitely think that people should give it a watch. And yeah, it has a pretty cool cast as well. It has Olivia Holt in it from
Oh.
Yeah, Olivia Holt's in it. She's like definitely like a highlight of the story. But I think it's good.
Yeah, you're right. Something I'll never watch.
Yeah, no. Pussy. I'm kidding.
Oh no, you're right.
I mean, it's honestly like, how can I really explain it? Like the slasher stuff. It's literally like Scream. Like it's literally Scream. Like, that's basically how I can explain it.
Never heard of it.
Okay, buddy.
My next one is this is gonna be a quick one from me. Legion of Superheroes. It's in DC's new Tomorrowverse animated movie universe. Mid. All right, move on.
Move on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before I get into this one, I'm gonna say John Wick 4.
Hell yeah.
John Wick 4 is really, really, really good. I really, really love the addition of Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen is an absolute goat. If you don't know who Donnie Yen is, get on that, please. But like I was telling Peyton before we started that, like, when I went to go see it, when it first came out in March, at the beginning, the combat was like a little goofy. Like I felt like, it was a little, like some of the hits were kind of lazy and they weren't hitting all the way. But also I had to think about it from a storytelling perspective, is that like John Wick takes place in like a week, or kind of like a week or two or something like that. And so, yeah, John's just tired. He's tired of all this. He's tired of getting into everything. He wants to just live a simple life again. But of course he cannot do that because, he has to travel around and recruit people, and he sees Donnie Yen, and Donnie Yen's just amazing. His choreography is just incredible. I think it has some of my favorite set designs and like locations in the series so far. And obviously you have the addition of, what's his name, Skarsgård boy, It Boy.
Oh yeah, Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård, who every time he smiles, I just think of Pennywise, but he does like a pretty bad French accent.
It's not very good.
Yeah, no, it's not good. But I mean, it's fine. It's fine. And then also you have Clancy Brown,
The GOAT.
I know, and he's a great addition as well. But other than that, like, I mean, the action is all there. It's John Wick. You can't have a John Wick movie without its action. It does some things, really, really well. There's not really like a lot of lows in this movie, but I just can't wait to see what they do in the franchise. I know they're doing the Continental. I know they're doing another series with Donnie Yen's character, and John Wick 5. It's already in production, pre-production. So. Yeah, John Wick 4. It's really good.
Truly incredible movie. The action was fucking incredible. In my opinion, it's the best in the series. Like,
yeah, I see that. Yeah.
The fucking part where they're in the little, I don't even know what to call it. The fucking because they're in France. That the huge roundabout bit where they're just flying through people and getting hit by cars a million times and shit.
Yeah, John Wick's body has peak human durability for how many times he gets hit by a car.
And it's like, does the John Wick universe make any sense? No, but I also don't give a shit.
Yeah. So funny.
There was that sequence where it's like a video game, like a top-down
shooter. Yeah, the top down with the fire rounds.
Yes, so fucking good.
That was so good. That's so awesome. They cooked with that.
And of course, he got Donnie Yen. He did the fucking Ip Man punch. He did.
Yeah, the Ip Man punch. I just love that scene where it opens up with him eating ramen in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he uses his cane and he fucking starts punching and shit. It's just,
He's so good at playing a blind dude that can fight.
I know, right?
just a phenomenal film. I think I've seen it 2 or 3 times. It's fucking fantastic. Yeah, so I guess my next one is Scream 6.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Mid.
No,
I'm kidding. It was bad. It was good. I didn't like as much as Scream. I didn't like it as much as Scream 5. Yeah, 5 Cream. So it surprises me to learn that people prefer 6 over 5s. I don't understand that. But yeah, it's a solid outing in the Scream franchise. So this is very new for me. But yeah, as a Scream fanboy, which is you, did this film satisfy you?
It did. I really enjoyed it. Obviously they were drawing parallels to the second one. You know, all the kids go to college and stuff like that. I really enjoyed the part. I enjoyed like a lot of it, but I liked how they try to do the twist of Kirby being the killer. And the only part that I didn't really like was Annika dying. I don't know. She was too fine to me. Like, why her?
I see.
But other than that, like I did like how it was instead in NYC. And there is a complaint where people were like, well, if it's set in NYC, I wanted to see some NYC things. Like, I wanted them to go big. I wanted them to, like, I don't know, like push someone in front of a train. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know about all that. I mean, it's good for what it is. The twist is fine. The kills are a lot more bloody and like, you know, personal. The beginning is amazing. The intro is amazing.
What was the intro?
The intro was Tony Revolori's character.
Oh, yes.
Kills his teacher, kills Samara Weaving, and then he's like, I see some red, and just slashes her. That was really good. I like that intro a lot.
Yeah, too bad the franchise is dead.
Yeah, no, like I was telling Peyton that he literally witnessed the fall of Scream as when he binged all the movies.
I know, I just had to binge all the movies right before it dies.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Spyglass. Crazy. Yes, Scream 6 good. My next one is Godzilla -1. Oh my god, that movie is so good.
Yeah, I was excited for you to talk about it because I have only heard good things. I've never seen a Godzilla movie, and I've never...
No, dude, bro, okay, here's the thing. So, you should watch Godzilla. The 2014 and King of Monsters are on Netflix, and you should watch the original. And I mean, if you want to continue on with anything else, you can. And Godzilla and Kong is on Netflix as well. And then if you want, you can watch Kong Skull Island. Anyways,
Kong Skull Island has a big spider, so pass.
Oh yeah, it does. Ooh, yeah. It's funny how it has both of our fears in it. It has a big spider and it has a gigantic squid.
He eats the squid.
Yeah,
I know some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to just like a recap or whatever, I mean, that's fine. But I know you don't want to watch Skull Island, which is cool. It's fine, whatever. But overall, like, this Godzilla isn't part of, it's like its own thing, which is cool. I know, like, it's funny because how, like, we have Godzilla -1 coming out, and they're promoting Godzilla and Kong: A New Empire, which I'm gonna see.
And Monarch.
Yeah, Monarch. Show. Yeah. And the one thing I love about this Godzilla film is that clearly Godzilla is like an antagonist, or he's a villain, which is like in the movies, you know, he's very like misunderstood, which he still is to an extent. But, you know, in this movie, with the complaints of watching the previous ones, it's like, oh yeah, you know, like I want to see more monsters, and I want to see, like, if you're gonna do humans in a monster movie, make them interesting. And I think what they did was they made the humans so much more interesting and like compelling that it just makes the movie even better. The look of Godzilla is so great. It's so good. It's kind of like they got the original mixed with like the legendary, which is like, 2014, and like would just, and like kind of like added elements of Shin Godzilla as well in some capacity. But it's like he looks so good. It's so detailed. It's so he's wild. He's crazy. But the thing is too, like what I love about it is the period it takes place in. It takes place in World War II, like literally like day, like like at first the timeline is like days before the war ends, and then 1946 and 1947 in Japan.
I mean,
and
Godzilla is a allegory for nuclear war. So
yeah, and like you see that in the film, and so basically the main character, he's a kamikaze pilot who leaves his duty, and pretty much like of course with Japan, especially in that time period, it's like, wow, you're leaving your duty, you are a disgrace to the country. And you see that like you see that all the time with this character. And there is a way for this character to like conclude his arc in such a great way. And like even like, all the characters, like the side characters who you think wouldn't have such a big part of the film, they do, and they all have a story to tell. They'll all have a place inside the story. And I really just like love this film. It's so emotional. The score is just amazing. I love how they incorporate stuff from the original but in a modern twist. And like I said, like, Godzilla, just the stills of Godzilla and how like he's portrayed, it's so good. Like there's a part there's a shot in the film where like Godzilla is like looking at the mess he created, and it's just fucking marvelous. Like the movie is like an absolute blast. I love it so much, and I'm glad it's getting like praise, and because it is made by Toho, which is a Japanese company. And I was under the impression that it was a $15 million budget, but the director said that it wasn't even that much, and he said that we wish it was more. But then again, I think it's like it's 15 million USD. I mean, it's 15 million USD, but it's in yen, it's different because yen is a lower currency than the dollar.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's a ridiculously low number for what it looks like.
Yeah, and like it's no, dude, like it really is like that good.
You
and
gave it a 10 out of 10.
I did give it a 10 out of 10 because it's just that great. Like it's a way for me to where like when I think a movie does well is when besides all the CGI and visual effects, when it's able to conclude an arc of a character and multiple characters in a story and like make it that emotional. I think that it deserves a 10 out of 10. And the way it ends off, so the director was like, okay, well, yeah, I wanted it to end it in this certain way because like it's more cinematic, but it's where the audience is, or where the audience is kind of like relieved, and he wants to make a second one. He wants to make a second Godzilla movie. I'm not sure if it will be a continuation of this one. I think it should be a second one that's not connected to this one. But yeah, it is a 10 out of 10. It's so good.
I think a huge reason for them being able to keep the budget low is the director was also the VFX coordinator.
Yeah, exactly. It was, yeah. And I see what they did. They did use some like a little bit of puppeteering in some scenes, and you can definitely see that, but it makes it to where, like I said, it's keeping that keeping that homage to the original.
Yeah,
and you see that all throughout for sure. So they did everyone did such a great job in this movie, cast from crew to everyone else in between. It's just so good, so good.
My issue is that I'm not a fan of monster movies.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
That's what I mean. It's like a testament that -1 is the only one that made me go, oh man, this actually looks pretty good.
Well, yeah, and like like because the thing is like while -1 is a monster movie, it also is a great human movie too, which is why I think you should watch it.
Yeah, I've heard that -1 is like the only one that people actually cared about the characters.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because like I haven't even heard much about Monarch because of how much people don't like the humans in the American Godzilla movies, and so I really just do think that that's how you do, like, you make human characters compelling in a monster movie, like when you're using them as like parallels and plot devices to strengthen the humans and also like strengthen their character arcs. It's just so good. It's really, really well done, in my opinion.
Good. My next one is Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Honor
Yeah.
Among Thieves. I wanted to like it more, but I still thought it was really good.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it for sure. It was a thing to where, I was in a Dungeons and Dragons club back in high school for like a little bit, and I knew a little bit about like the roles and how the game plays, so I was fairly familiar with it. So I went into this movie and I was like, oh, like I wasn't expecting like greatness, but I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I really loved it.
It's one of those movies where it has no right being as good as it is. Like, it shouldn't be as good as it is.
Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, like that movie was so fun. The plot was really good. The cast did really, really well. I really liked Hugh Grant's character. He was so cool. He was so like,
Hugh Grant's
so
just
good.
been doing random shit lately.
Hugh Grant's just Hugh Grant, bro. Like, yeah. I mean, he did well in this. I want to see him in Wonka as an Oompa Loompa.
Apparently it's good, the movie.
Scratch Chat Reverse.
Apparently Timothée Chalamet is pretty good. Apparently people are saying that they just did him dirty in the trailer.
I understand that too, and that's the thing with trailers, that like, they trailer shots and the actual footage is always gonna be different. And so like, while in the trailer his delivery wasn't as good in the trailer, I'm sure it was definitely a different take they did in the theatrical release. But yeah, continue on with Dungeons and Dragons.
It was good. I liked it.
I love the set design, and I also loved I think one of my favorite parts was in they were in like the cave and surrounded by like lava, and they were getting chased around by the dragon.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite parts. I did warn you about a spider. I did warn you about that.
And I don't remember seeing one, so it must have worked.
Good. Because I was like, I kept that in mind throughout the whole movie. I was like, I have to tell him, I have to warn you. So my next one is obviously Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh,
that's
peak.
It is peak
fiction.
It is literally amazing. They managed to take my love for Into Spider-Verse and amplify it by a lot. And the animation is so, it's so good. It's amazing. I loved the different characters. Of course, you have like Spider-Punk and Spider-Man India, and like the themes, the themes and just the allegories of characters, just incredible. While I also loved Across Spider-Verse, the discourse around it was something. And people are switching up on the movie, as Marvel fans always do.
Oh well, they switching up on the movie. They're switching up on the game too. Spider-Man 2 is getting switched up on hard. I'm just baffled by just the way people just switch up on shit. I know, it's wild to me.
People are like people like, you'll see like some general praise of Across the Spider-Verse, and people were like, I don't like the movie because it's like literally half of a movie, and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
It's not that good, actually.
Like, you want to be different so fucking badly, you will never be a critic.
Empire
Shut up.
Strike. No one said that shit about Infinity War.
Exactly. And then when you do bring it up like that, because I did see someone bring it up, I was like, well, what about Infinity War? They're like, it's not the same. I'm like, yeah, because it doesn't fit your narrative, fucker. But anyways, yeah, like I love just, I loved the way they handle the characters, especially with their respective backgrounds. And I loved how Spot was gonna be villain. Like, you would never think that Spot was gonna be like a villain, and Spot is relatively like new in comics. The fact that they brought him on this early and how much of a threat that he's gonna be is so like mind-blowing to me. I also just love like the score. The score is just amazing, especially with Metro Boomin being on
Metro Boomin and
the soundtrack.
Daniel Pemberton, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Daniel Pemberton. Like, they were fucking cooking. They were just
the movie, just like the first one. It's a triumph in animation and storytelling. Really, it's phenomenal. It's just as a sequel should be. It goes bigger, it goes bolder in pretty much every aspect. Like we said it in our review, or maybe I just said it, but I truly do think it's one of the best sequels of all time. Like, it's just that good. Not only is the original already phenomenal, already a masterpiece, the sequel manages to surpass that. And like that's such a rarity. Like, we've seen it before with Empire Strikes Back. One could say Infinity War, even though technically it's not like a second movie in a trilogy. But yeah, like Spider-Man 2, even it's truly one of the best sequels of all time. Yes, that means The Godfather. It's better than The Godfather. Actually, it's better than both Godfather movies. I do not care.
Oh well, damn.
It's probably the best Spider-Man movie ever made, and yeah, it is the best Spider-Man movie ever made.
I didn't expect that coming from you.
What? The Godfather comment?
Yeah, I mean, I know you don't really like it that much, but I didn't expect that.
I mean, I'm not wrong though.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Bro knows I'm right. He knows I'm right. It's okay. You don't want to get flamed. It's okay.
Anyways, my next one is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
It was my turn, but okay.
Oh, it was? Shit, my fault.
My next one is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay. Okay, god damn it.
Peak!
Absolutely.
The back-to-back of Guardians and Across the Spider-Verse was fucking nuts. We were eating good. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is fucking phenomenal. The best Guardians movie, in my opinion. One of the best MCU movies, in my opinion. Just the story's just incredible. It's so, in James Gunn fashion, it's really, really funny, but it's with all the rocket stuff, it's very, very sad. One of the more brutal MCU movies. We got our first F-bomb in there also, which was hilariously done. I saw it. I don't even know how many times now, but I'm still surprised every time they peel his face off.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh Jesus.
It always reminds me of that Two-Face crispy meme.
Crispy.
Crispy. Nah, but dude, I remember when we first saw it, like an early release. And
we saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 early. We saw it like a couple weeks early. I don't know if anyone knew that. We saw it early in IMAX. We got a James Gunn invite. We're like, hell yeah, James. We'll be there.
I remember like when Peter did say the F-bomb, we were all like, oh, like the audience like, oh shit,
he said it.
And, we're like, oh dude, it was so cool. But yeah, man, I watched it recently, like about a couple months ago, and I cannot tell you on how how I felt the first time watching it. Actually, wait, I've seen it 3 times. That's crazy. I've seen it 3 times.
Oh yeah, because you saw it with Nissan. Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw it 3 times. And it just hits the same. Like the score is incredible. Like John Murphy did his thing. I know like some people were like, yeah, we're not getting Tyler Bates. No, John Murphy does his thing.
My only complaint with the score is that we only heard the Guardians theme once.
Yeah, you only heard it once. Yeah. But to counteract that, we did get some great soundtrack by James Gunn. You know,
yeah, incredible soundtrack.
Volume mix.
He does not miss.
And he doesn't. And I don't know what it is. I'm not a fan. I was like kind of like cautious because I didn't really like the second volume mix all that much. I mean, then again, I don't really like volume 2 that much either.
Yeah, bro's biased.
So like, but the only song I really like is Father and Son off volume 2, the volume 2 mix. So the volume 3 mix.
What about Mr. Blue Sky?
That one too. I forgot. That was in the beginning.
Yeah. What about Brandy?
I don't remember.
Brandy, you're a fine girl. Wanna go? Wow,
that's good, but it doesn't hit. It doesn't hit as much as the first or third one, in my opinion.
What about Wham Bam Shangalang?
That's good, but doesn't. I mean, that's good. I don't remember it.
Bro needs to re-listen to the soundtrack.
I do. Anyways, but the mix is really good. I really loved. I love how like the stakes are pretty high. You know, I love how they're pretty high. I love how the high evolutionary is just as an antagonist to like Rocket and his past and even the present, especially how he interacts with Adam Warlock and his mom. It was so cool. And fucking James Gunn's his hands were writing that fire ass line from the High Evolutionary. There is no God. That's why I stepped in.
Fucking crazy.
That's fucking insane. Overall, like the movie is just absolutely incredible. I knew that James Gunn delivered in such a great way to where PETA nominated or gave him the Person of the Year award.
Oh yeah,
it's crazy. But I also it hurts my heart. You know, seeing Rocket and his friends. Those moments were pretty sad.
Getting murked and then emoted on.
Yeah. Where? I don't want to fucking hear it.
It's crazy when High Evolutionary just started hitting the gritty on their bodies.
Right. fucking Victory Royale.
Yeah.
And then he gets his fucking face slashed. But yeah, no, that was it's such a great movie. I really, really love it.
Yeah, like I don't know what I even expected going in. Obviously, I was really exciting. I was hoping for a lot. But I don't know. It's hard to say now that I've seen the movie and you know I've had time to digest it. But like I feel like I didn't expect it to top the first one, and yet it did top the first one. It's similar to Across the Spider-Verse. It expands and delivers on everything you want in a sequel. It goes bigger, it goes bolder. It has, you know, humor, it has drama, it has emotions and spectacular performances. Like we have issues with the humor in Volume 2, and that's just not really present in Volume 3. Like, is there humor to undercut some of the serious moments? Like, sure, from time to time, but it's never as egregious as Volume 2. But the performances were incredible, especially from Bradley Cooper and Chukwudi Iwuji. Just truly, truly incredible performances. The pacing was phenomenal. The action was dialed up to 11, and compared to the first two films, James Gunn was allowed to go, darker and more violent than a lot of people probably expected, because again, the face peely bit. Yeah, it definitely, the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 definitely solidified itself within the MCU as probably the best trilogy. One could make the argument for Captain America, and I wouldn't be mad at that, but the Guardians trilogy is just incredible. Peak.
Definitely. Is it my turn?
Yes.
My next one is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Mutant Mayhem.
Again, it's a movie that gets, compared to Into Spider-Verse for terms of its animation. Such a great movie. It's a fun movie. The overwhelming cast is just incredible, from Nicolas Cantu to Jackie Chan, Ice Cube, and Paul Rudd. You can't really go wrong there. You can't really go wrong. I mean, overall, I have really like too much to say about it, other than that, it's fun. It's a great movie that talks about discrimination and overall, being a family, and it's just a great movie. It's just good.
The running joke about getting milked was the funniest bit.
Oh yeah,
so fucking funny.
They're gonna milk us.
But yeah, the performances from the cast for the Turtles specifically, just incredible. They really did feel like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's sort of been said to death, but it's true. Like they just feel that way, and it was just done super, super, super well. I really hope they continue with this specific universe. I think they're making a show. I'm very excited for the future of that universe if it does continue. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's sort of like Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. It's sort of an unfair comparison, but in terms of its animation, it is similar. It sort of has that sort of choppy look to it, but where it differs is that it's like the animation was done by a kid, but like in the best way. Like a lot of the smoke effects and like the lighting just look like little crayon scribbles. It's fucking brilliant. It's really, really well done. And the movie, it's one of those things, like, unfortunately, I was never a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan growing up, not because I didn't like it, but because I wasn't really exposed to that franchise as much as a lot of other people. But the movie was like ridiculously funny, like for no reason. Like, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're funny, but like, generally, traditionally, it's a lot of like cowabunga dude and shit like that. And this wasn't that. It was just teenagers being fucking stupid. It easily could have come off as like cringe or trying too hard or like, how do you do, fellow kids, sort of thing, and it never came off that way. And that's really, really, really impressive. Like that doesn't really happen in like big sort of Hollywood films. So yeah, the movie was really, really well done.
Yeah, for sure. This is gonna be my final best film, and I'm sure you have other films on your list I'm gonna agree with as well. For me, it is They Clone Tyrone. Such 100%. Such a great film, man. I remember my mom telling me about it. She said you should watch it, and I remember you saying you watched it, and I was like, all right, well then I gotta watch it. I just love how it's it has a look and feel of a blaxploitation film, but it's set in modern day with that sci-fi element of how they're conducting experiments on Black people in these communities, and how they set up all these spots to kind of like turn them into like sheep or whatever. And you have like the fast food chicken, the nail salons, the barbershops, the strip clubs, and just all these things. And I love how it kind of reminds me of like like Groundhog Day, where you like where he dies and experiences like the same thing, or he experiences like different things. He tries to give himself to remember. Overall, like the movie's just great. It's filled with such fantastic performances from John Boyega, Jamie Foxx, and Tiana Paris. Like I knew Jamie Foxx is a great actor, but man, he's just a highlight in this film. He really is.
He's always a highlight in most of the things he's in. It's weird because it's like, Jamie Foxx is good, but anytime he like really shines, it's like, oh shit, right, Jamie Foxx is a legend.
Exactly. And so like I just really loved like stuff like this, like I really love the story, like the Afro surrealism stuff, and it's like you see that in media like Atlanta, like for sure.
That Afro surrealism.
Yeah, like you see that in stuff like Atlanta, and like I would even say like the Boondocks. I mean, it wasn't
Get
even so
Out.
much like Afro surrealism. Yeah, Get Out as well. But like Boondocks isn't like so much of like Afro surrealism, but it's like a just like satirical critique of like the Black community, and that's also what this movie served as well. It's like well, like, hey, you like you got
It's in the
fucking
chicken.
like yeah
You got grape drink.
great drink, and like how you have like all these like hair products and shit in like the salons, like it's just like also like the church too, the church.
Yeah.
Like it's all just like typical, like that's gonna sound fucked up. That's gonna sound
typical Black behavior.
Yeah, I was like, god damn, that's fucked up.
Black people activities.
Well, yeah, like black people shit, typical Black people shit, but yeah, I like stuff like that. It's like always something to make light about, and I'm glad that they did it with this film. And like I love how that they just get mind controlled easily, which is kind of crazy too. Yeah, overall, They Clone Tyrone was such a great movie.
Agreed. My next one, Shazam Fury of the Gods.
That's your best?
No.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it is a movie that came out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not my worst. That shit's something.
Was big fans of the first Shazam film, and I don't know if I had high hopes. It's not like I expected it to be like the best thing I've ever seen. But
I was hoping for something a little bit more different.
Yeah, it did. It definitely retreaded the same ground, but not in it. It did a lot of what the first film already did, but not as good.
Yeah, and if you go back to our review, I mean, my thoughts haven't really changed about the movie. It was crazy how like before Shazam came out, there was like the whole thing about Zachary Levi and like the whole Christian thing, whatever. But like I wasn't really a fan of like the villains, especially like Lucy Liu's character. It's one thing to where the plot of like, oh man, humans, they're bad, I hate them, but it's like it felt so boring.
Yeah,
in that film.
The first one, it's just like it's a guy and he's just sort of mustache twirling evil, but that's better than trying to like force some like sympathy sort of thing. It's like they say like the best villains are sympathetic villains, but like if there's nothing to like relate to, or there's nothing nothing really feels earned in that way, then it falls flat really hard, and that's what it did.
Yeah, and on top of that, like I'm glad that they were kind of giving more of the Shazam, the Shazamily, the Shazamily like more time to shine. But even then, like I felt like I don't even know these people, and I I don't know. It just doesn't really like feel like right. And then
they wanted to give the Shazamly more play, but then they just got rid of their powers.
That's right too.
It's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah. And then the biggest thing is one of the biggest things is, of course, Billy Batson and Shazam. Like, they're two completely different characters. Like, while Asher Angel is somebody who is serious about some of this stuff, and then you go into Zachary Levi, he's all like uppity and happy. Like, what the fuck,
Such
bro?
a massive disconnect. It's so
it's so jarring.
Yeah,
because it's like why is this even like a thing? And I get, like, with Shazam is that, like, when he turns into that character, he's he has like the confidence and the abilities of all these gods. But like, had there been a time where, like, wow, like, this is serious in his Shazam form, I think it would have been a better connection. But the fact that, like, there wasn't that, that's not something you should do.
It's even more jarring. It's even more jarring when the kid is a better actor or is putting in a better performance than the 40-year-old man.
Yeah. And I just that's something that, like, really bugged me a lot. But yeah, other than that, like, Shazam Fear of the Gods is something. And then I also feel like, I mean, I know they were trying to do something with their post-credit scene, but that Mr. Mind shit gotta go, bro. They ain't doing shit with that. I mean, they can't do anything with it now. But I feel like that these movies just don't even go anywhere. Oh, and on top of that, too, they fucking spoil Wonder Woman, like, before the release.
Well, they spoiled Wonder Woman before the release, and the movie automatically lose a couple extra points because they used the stupid fucking theme for the millionth time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole there's a gag where, like, Billy Batson has a dream that he's meeting Wonder Woman, and they don't even show her to the end, and it's like, well, that's already fucking spoiled, because literally I'm on Fandango and I fucking see Gal Gadot's face. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh my god, I have to hear this theme one more time. Gonna shoot my brains out.
Well, good thing we never will. And James Gunn resets the universe with a different actor and a different theme.
Yes.
Could you imagine if his new Wonder Woman showed up and it's the same thing?
I genuinely will have to hop on Twitter.
Be like, hey, no, you know what? I liked James Gunn before, but he's lost all respect. Another one for me is the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, it's good.
Good stuff. Good fun. Nothing crazy, but it's just good fun. If you're a Mario fan.
Good fun. Great animation from Illumination. Great voice acting, from Seth Rogen and Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, and even though it's not as good as the 1993
Jack
film.
Black. Shut up.
It's still solid. No, it's not. It's a masterpiece.
Movie is trash, dog.
It is not. But there's fun references to the games that any fan's gonna enjoy, especially the music. The music in the movie is fucking incredible. It being like an orchestral version of some of the world themes. It's really, really cool. The story is really basic and pretty predictable, but it's also a kid's movie, so it doesn't need to be or should be complicated necessarily. But yeah, it was just good fun. And then we got for me, Torn hasn't seen this one because he's a bit. No, I'm kidding. But Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. A lot of people aren't fans of it. I really liked it, so I guess I'll go fuck myself. I feel like that's a running theme this year for me, that I just like things that everyone fucking hates it. So I guess I'll jump off a bridge. There was Asteroid City, which I thought was a lot of
something. That was something too.
Fuck you. It was a lot of fun.
I mean, it's one of the things to where I like the movie. I like what it's trying to portray. I just wish I had seen more Wes Anderson films before I had seen this one, so I can kind of get a grasp of his style. so I can see it.
Fuck
I mean,
you.
I've seen Mr. Fantastic Mr. Fox, like
Mr. Fantastic Fox.
Mr. Fantastic. He's trying to start the film. He wears a Fantastic Four suit. But yeah, I've seen that film, but it was like a while ago. But I mean, I'm glad that some of the Wes Anderson films are on streaming services, so I can watch them now after Parks and Rec, of course.
Better be. Yeah, Asteroid City was great. Incredible cast, incredible sets. I thought the story was great. One of my favorites from Wes Anderson. I don't know if it breaks top 5 though, especially after the Wes Anderson shorts. Just to bring that into play, all the Wes Anderson shorts, Wes Anderson's fans were eating this year. Let me tell you, all the shorts were great. I'm not going to go through all of them in detail, but they're all really solid, especially The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, one of my favorite Wes Anderson things, period. And it's just a 40-minute short on Netflix. I think everyone should give it a watch. It's really, really great. All the other ones were really solid as well, but that one was a standout for me. Probably the worst thing I saw this year was Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
You didn't like it?
That shit was mid as fuck.
I think it's mid, but I wouldn't say worse. But
well, consider it's just all the things that I've seen this year. I'm sure there's worse movies. But yeah, at least out of the things that I've seen this year, Transformers Rise of the Beast, it really, for me, like it was solid. It just, the third act completely fell apart. The movie completely fell apart for me in that third act. I fucking hated that third act. I thought it was terrible. But the first couple acts were good. I really liked Pete Davidson in it. I thought he was really, really great. But other than that, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. I guess.
Should I have another worst movie?
Ooh, what?
The Flash.
Oh, I don't know if I'd put it at. I mean, it's bad.
I mean, it's mid. It's mid. It's mid to bad.
It's one of those movies where it's like it's so bad it's good. Like I have a blast watching it.
Yeah, and
but it's bad.
Yeah, it's one of the things where I'll say it again. I've never seen a second act so strong in my life. It manages to tackle like the emotional moments of the film. I mean, of course, I've only seen it once, and that's because I had rose-tinted glasses by seeing it early. Yeah, the movie is not good. There's some. I mean, we said it before. It has like its highest highs, but also like its lowest lows. With that being the lowest lows being the CGI and
some of the storytelling, especially in that third act.
Oh my god. Yeah, I just love seeing CGI babies and CGI dead characters.
Oh, but Torrin, he's in the Speed Force, so it's supposed to look like that.
Biggest amount of bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? Yeah, definitely the highlights were Sasha Kaye's Supergirl, but even she doesn't get that much play as she should. And Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah, her fucking character's only purpose is to like literally die.
Yeah,
which is rough.
But she does really great given what she's given.
Yeah,
I love Michael Keaton's Batman. Everything about him, like even like when they're escaping and he's like taking measurements of the shit. He's like, "How much do you weigh?" like all that stuff was really, really great in my opinion. But even the Batfleck stuff, I've been enormously critical of Batfleck, and to be honest, the Flash is kind of my favorite Batfleck. The thing, just when he's like just going through Gotham and shit, and he's doing more. Like Snyder fans would hate it, but I like cartoony Batman. Like if we're gonna give him more, comic-y, not abilities, but like as far as like his strength and his ability to do certain things goes, it's less grounded. And I thought it was really great in The Flash, to be honest. But then Wonder Woman pops up on the bridge. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I thought they actually handled the humor with Batman there. I thought they handled it really well, but she has the lasso of truth on him, and I thought the dialogue there was really, really funny. Except Barry when he's like, "I've never had sex" or whatever. I'm like, okay, but the Batman stuff was good. But yeah, the Flash overall not good, but damn, is it entertaining? It's a fucking what a blast in both a good and a bad way. But yeah, so the Flash's ass. Elemental, I saw Elemental. It's fine. It's it had that weird rise to the box office where it flopped initially and then it just started doing numbers. Does it deserve those numbers? I mean, it's fine. It's a fine movie. There's also Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Part 1. Good shit.
Yes.
And now that you've seen it, do you understand what I meant when I was like, it really the how good this one is really hinges on the next one? Because if that AI shit does not, I'm really worried about the AI thing. I'm like, if this antagonist thing does not go well, it really hurts this film as well.
I think that, like, I don't know how I feel about the AI threat just yet. I thought Deathstroke was good. Oh yeah, Deathstroke. I really think that like the AI thing can work if it's like destroyed either early on or like it's not like a big integral part, because obviously in my opinion, I mean, the AI is like, since he's setting it, but like, I don't know, I think that guy is kind of bullshitting. I think he's schizophrenic. But to me, I don't think it will really hurt the movie for me. I mean, I'm not really entirely sure. Like, cause I mean, I didn't really find the AI thing like kind of like a big deal, in my opinion.
No, not for this movie, but they're making it a big deal for the next one. And I'm just like, I mean, like for this movie, like again, Deathstroke was great, but they're really like, oh, this AI, it knows everything and it knows what you're gonna do and this and that. I'm like, okay, but like, yeah. I don't know. Like, part of me is like, I hope there's something behind the AI that is a little less, I don't know. But at the same time, because if it's like a dude behind the AI, then it's like Wizard of Oz type shit. Like, then you run the risk of well, I don't want to spoil anything, but the risk a bit of James Bond-ness of it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted, but as a movie without the second part out yet, pretty good. It's good stuff.
It is pretty good.
Definitely a solid outing in the Mission Impossible franchise. It's probably third for me. I think Fallout's better, and I think Ghost Protocol is better. But yeah, as far as it's a really consistent franchise, so third place, pretty good. Next I have Blue Beetle. It's all right.
Yeah, it's good. It's like literally like your average by the number superhero movie.
Yeah, it does what it needs to do.
Yeah, it does what it needs to do. I love the suit. The suit's incredible. I love what it does. I love like some of the action, and yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say.
Yeah, it's a solid outing from DC. Like you said, it's a by the numbers plot for a superhero film. It really cannot shake that vibe of it being a streaming movie that got bumped up to a theatrical release. Unfortunately, it feels very Power Rangers, very Spy Kids. The biggest issue with the film, other than the by the numbers plot, is the CGI in every other area except the suit, because the suit, that's like where all the budget went. And just too little hand-to-hand combat, or maybe if they didn't put all of it into the trailer, that would have been cool. But yeah, I was really hoping for more action, because the action we see in the trailer is really great, and we see a little bit of that towards the end, but that's pretty much all we get, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, really, it's solid, but it's not great. but it does give me relatively high hopes for the sequel that we're probably inevitably going to get. Next is Five Nights at Freddy's. Should have been better.
Yeah, movie's good as a FNAF movie, but as a regular movie,
I don't even know if I'd say it's as good. It's good as a FNAF movie.
I mean,
I feel like
it's good for what we're getting, and it's good for what they're trying to do. I still think that as a casual of like, I mean, if you're a casual of like the film, they could have explained things a little bit better.
It's not a good horror movie.
No, it's not a good horror movie, and there has been discussion of, you know, within the FNAF community of like, well, FNAF isn't really all that like bloody to begin with, and they're not gonna be doing they weren't gonna be doing like anything like super duper bloody.
And that's true. A lot of it is implied, but we're talking about a game versus a movie, and the movie should expand more on that. You know, it should show more than it just tells and implies.
Yeah. And so like whenever I heard that, I'm like, okay, well, like I'm not mad about it, you know, going it like that, because, you know, I mean, I haven't played the games, but I do know like enough about the lore as I'm trying to educate myself every day, that like how this is supposed to go. And so, but yeah, like I still think that like they could have explained some things better for casual people trying to get into FNAF. And like, you know, you said it. I don't like it. The exposition dump is fucking garbage. I hate it. I don't like what they did.
Vanessa just holding information for no reason.
Yeah, I'm like, you're fucking dumb. And but yeah, I mean, I know what they're trying to do as a movie. I still think that like there are some things that could have been done differently, in terms of like the story, obviously. But I know they're trying to do like kind of like this like by the numbers, quote unquote horror film. But definitely, I want for the next film, I want it to be longer. Don't hold information back, please. I beg of you.
The worst thing they could do.
This the worst thing they could do, and
other than not doing any scares.
Yeah, if we gonna get something like that, like a little bit more, and I think the movie should be fine. But yeah, like as a recent FNAF fan, like I think they were doing some things, you know, pretty solid. I know they're trying to do like they're doing their own continuity that involves some parts of the books and some parts of the games and the lore, and I think they're doing a pretty solid job of doing that. So I think like in terms of like, yeah, getting the story right or getting the story fine for theatrical purposes, it's doing a fine job. Like I said, they could just tweak some things in terms of like how the structure of the story is, and I think it should be fine. But also the set design and the light rigging, fucking
costume
amazing.
Design for the animatronics, incredible.
Yeah, that is like literally like one-on-one, like beat for beat adaptation of like the suits, and I love how, you know, they are practical, which is so good.
Yeah, clearly they focus more on that than the story.
Well, I mean, that's fine. Like,
is it though? I mean, it made a shit ton of profit, but at the same time, a lot of that was hinging on, it's the FNAF movie and it's kind of a meme. But now, it like people who are going into this, like maybe, like if they wanted to like convert people into Five Nights at Freddy's fans or get people excited for another one, they failed at doing that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. I definitely agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Because,
and I'm saying you're stupid. I'm just
okay.
kidding.
Well, damn. Well, yeah. Of course. You know, I agree. I'm saying, like, you know, I think it's fine that I mean, I want the suits to look good. I like seeing a gigantic Freddy, Bonnie, and everyone like that. But yeah, of course, I agree that yeah, they have failed to do that, and that's what I want them to change. If they explain things a little bit better to casual people watching, hoping to get into Five Nights at Freddy's, that's what they need to do. They need to change, because like one person like watching this, like even my mom, she watched it and she had no idea that this was like a game. She had no idea that this was a series. I had to explain to her like what was going on, and that's what she was confused.
My mom knew it was a game, but I think she thought that like it was already like a movie or something. Like I don't know, because I was watching it and she was like, "Oh, it's Five Nights at Freddy's," and she was like, "You're just watching this now?" And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, isn't this old?" And I was like, "It just came out." She was like, "Oh."
Yeah, no, yeah, like, yeah, my mom never knew that like this was like a game series. And so like she was like super duper confused on like everything, because like she was like saying like, well, like if like her dad is like this serial killer, then like how did he like manage to have like a life outside of that or whatever. She was just super confused about everything. And I was like, yeah, like that I can understand that, because
and it's like, if you're a fan of the games and you know the lore, you probably know the answer, but it doesn't tell you that in the film for people who don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, because it's like, because my mom was like saying well, it doesn't really go into like who these kids are, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're just like random kids. Like he just starts killing kids. And then my mom was like, well, like, why does he do that? And I'm like, well, they don't explain that, because there's like a whole like expansive lore to this. Like they don't even go into like how all this stuff was like, all the chain restaurants of like Freddy's and stuff like that. They don't even go into that. And like I literally had to like explain to her like not the entire lore,
they don't go into like Henry and
they don't
like
go into
that.
Henry. They don't go into like Elizabeth or like like stuff like that. Like not too much into that or whatever.
Yeah, the film felt like sort of like a greatest hits of FNAF instead of telling a story. Because there's stuff from like the most recent games, there's stuff from the first game, there's stuff from the middle of the franchise. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
but at least we got a Matt Pat cameo.
Well, that's just a theory. I also love Corey Kenshin as well.
I was kidding. I've never seen a video of his.
He's good. I like his videos.
I don't. I've never seen it, but
that's cool.
I assume. Lastly, for the films is The Marvels, which just came out. Go watch a review. Piece of shit. Yeah, it was good. It was just good fun. It was just good fun. Nothing. It doesn't have to be a fucking masterpiece, but it's not like just bullshit like missed potential either, like Quantumania. It's just good fun. It's just solid MCU movie. My biggest thing for this movie, or my biggest, I guess, plus for this movie, some genuinely really funny moments.
For sure. Especially
with like Samuel L. Jackson with like the black girl magic and shit like that. Like just a lot of really, really funny stuff in it. But yeah, that is movies. For some shows, we just got done with the movie. You were like, "Oh, this is just going to be short." We're hour and a half into this. But for shows, I'm going to say Scott Pilgrim just came out. Really solid stuff. I think I talked about it last week or the week before. Really solid stuff. Secret Invasion. I liked it a lot. Yeah. Everyone else hates it. But whatever.
It's okay. It's okay.
I really like it. But it's fine. We also watched the Crowded Room, the series with Tom Holland that came out that critics fucking hated, but audiences seem to really, really enjoy. I thought it was really good, especially for a limited series. I forgot how many episodes it was, but whatever. There was also Loki season 2, which just came out. Fucking great.
Loki season 2 was great.
Truly, truly incredible. One of the best things the MCU has done, period. And it's like, it's one of those things. It's like if you talk to someone and it's like, oh man, I don't know, the MCU, man, it's getting stale and whatever. It's like, oh, that hasn't really been good. Loki season 2, you just go, Loki season 2, the MCU is still, it's fine. All right, it's fine. Like they gotta figure some stuff out, but it's not like they're not putting out quality. Period. Loki season 2 is right there. Along tandem that was coming out with Loki season 2 was Gen V. I just watched it recently. Great show, really really good. You hated it though. I don't know why.
What the fuck are you talking about? Shut up.
Sorry. Yeah, that's right. You didn't watch it.
What do you mean I did watch it?
I have no memory of you watching it. I don't know, man.
I don't remember if I even explained it. I mean, I swear to God, I said something about it.
You either talked about it on this show and I forgot, or you just never talked about it.
I swear to God, I feel like I said something about it.
You probably did, and I'm just a dumbass. But yeah, it was good stuff, huh? You said you didn't like.
I got it. Hold on, I found it. I found the text from November 5th. I said,
bro's pulling up receipts.
I am. I said, yeah, I finished it. Yeah, November 5th. I said finish Gen V, and then you replied the next day saying peak, and I said maybe when season 2 comes around, but it's damn good. And I said it's 8, and I said 8. You guys, how many episodes? I said it's 8 episodes.
All right, well, I guess I'm just a dumbass. Then I go fuck myself, I guess. But you said, what's the blonde girl's name? Emma, right?
Emma, yeah.
You said you didn't like her character that much.
I didn't like her character going towards kind of like in the middle. I'm not a fan.
Why though? She was fucking Red Hood. Fuck that kid. It's not him, but man, he really looks like him, and it pisses me off, even though he's done nothing wrong.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of their relationship at all.
I wasn't a fan of their relationship initially. I was like, oh, this is weird, because I thought he was like significantly younger than her, but no, they're like the same age. And in real life, the dude is like a year older than her.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of it at all.
I like the bit with the puppets, and he just tore them apart.
Yeah, I like that. I like that part. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Say them on some budget.
True.
But I really liked I really like Jordan. Jordan's really cool. I like their power set.
Yeah.
I love how they're the bi-gender thing.
Yeah. Woke.
One person that I wish had gotten more screen time, or who survived longer, was Golden Boy, because I know Golden Boy had like a lot of potential.
Yeah, Schwarzenegger's son.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also wish Andre, Polarity's son, had a lot more to power set. I want to see more of his powers.
I don't really care for him. He's probably my least favorite throughout the whole thing.
I understand. Marie's cool. I love how she's a parallel to Victoria.
Yes, that really surprised me.
Yeah.
And I love seeing her. Huey bagged a real one.
He did.
Lucky man. He's a lucky man.
Sure. Yeah. Gen V is pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad I wasn't spoiled on exactly what the Homelander cameo was. Like, I knew he was in the show, and I knew he made a cameo because you couldn't really avoid it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know exactly what his role was, and I was like, oh, I see.
How did you feel about the context of Soldier Boy?
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I remember I was like, so I'm like, Soldier Boy's in this, like, how?
Yeah, how does that work?
and then given the context, I was like, oh yeah, that's funny.
And his dialogue's fucking hilarious. So good. What a fucking, such a weird universe. It's so gross. But like,
yeah, I know, right? It's
so gross, but it's like, oh, this is great at the same time. But yeah, great show. There was also Ahsoka. It took a bit to find its footing, but it got there eventually. And obviously we got Anakin in there, so good. Anakin he was so good. I loved it so much. And then towards the end, it got very good towards the end there, and left a room to continue. I don't know if that's going to be in a season 2 or Dave Filoni's Heir to the Empire film, but regardless, Very exciting. I think the rumor is that it's going to have a season 2, but you know, it's very, very exciting, that show. And there was The Last of Us, which I kind of forgot came out this year. I thought it came out last year. It's been so long. But yeah, obviously
it's pretty good, pretty good, like beat for beat adaptation.
Yeah, phenomenal adaptation. Easily the best video game adaptation we've ever gotten, period. The Fallout show is coming out pretty soon though, and that seems like it's gonna, in the vein of The Last of Us, it's actually getting the tone correct. And you know, whether it's good or not is one thing, but you know, at least it looks as it should. But yeah, The Last of Us, brilliant show, and it did some stuff differently and expanded on certain things that I thought I really appreciated. Yeah, just a brilliant series. Phenomenal performances. Bella Ramsey fucking killed it. So did Pedro Pascal. Just incredible. Then there was Only Murders in the Building season 3, which I watched. That was really great. It's a show on Hulu. You know, murder mystery. You got Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. It's one of the more consistent shows, and it always blows my mind how consistent it manages to be, because we're a murder mystery that's meant to take place in like one building. It's like, how the fuck does this even work? But it does. Then there was Mandalorian season 3. You know, a lot of people fucking hate it, but I enjoyed it. It was one of those things where after Obi-Wan, I was like, I'm not touching the internet. I'm not looking at anything, and I'm really glad I did, because I really enjoyed Mando season 3. I do think it was probably the weakest season out of the 3, but the way people hate on that season is beyond me. Then there was Fiona and Cake, the Adventure Time spinoff. Incredible. It was just renewed for a season 2. I'm so fucking happy about it, because it was really great, and I'm so happy we get to see more of that. Then there was My Adventures with Superman.
Yes, sir.
It was okay. No, I'm kidding. It was peak Superman. Super happy we're getting, you know, actual good Superman content. And then there was, for me at least, Welcome to Wrexham season 2. Really great. I think I talked about that a few weeks ago, so I won't go too in depth, but just phenomenal stuff. Did you watch any other TV shows, or did I cover?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wanted to say about like Superman and Lois season 3. That was really good.
Did that come out this year?
It did come out this year.
It did? I knew I'd miss one. I knew it. I was going through shows. Yeah.
March 14th to July 27th. And June 27th is when Superman and Lois season 3 came out. That is like probably the best like season of that show until season 4 comes out. But dude,
absolutely,
it's so good. I really loved I really what was the oh yeah fucking I love the addition of Bruno's so good. And then his whole gang. I just loved how they were doing the whole Bizarro thing. I didn't how they turned Bizarro into Doomsday.
Dude, fucking
that was
insane.
So fucking good. Oh my god. And then I just the finale, dude. I was like, I love the dialogue of like, what are they like what have they done to you? Oh dude, it hit me so bad. And just how they're fighting across, like, you know, the fighting on the moon, and it's Soundgarden playing. Oh, dude, that was so good. They managed to do the characters so well in Superman and Lois. The only problem I have about that season is the whole Jordan and Sarah thing. I don't like that at all. Their whole relationship is pretty bad.
Yeah.
They need to stay away from each other for sure. Other than that, it's peak. For me, the other TV shows that I watched Goosebumps. I think it's pretty good.
Oh, you watched that? In my opinion.
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh.
I finished it.
Yeah,
it's
how
good.
was it?
I think it's good. I know a lot of people were really they were kind of like upset how like it was not kind of like it's not an anthology like how it was in the older series, and they weren't a fan of how the story is, because it's like so from the complaint I heard is that it reminds them of Riverdale. They're not a fan of like the whole teenage type of storyline. For me, I can see where they're coming from, but I haven't seen Riverdale, so I'm not like too. Oh, it didn't bother me that much. Um, I still am under the belief that these people who are like 25 should not be playing high school people, should not be playing people in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always gonna have a thing about that. But other than that, I think the general cast is pretty solid. And also it has Justin Long. I really love Justin Long in like anything. Yes, he is a goat. He does so well, and I'm glad that he's actually given a chance to like show off like his performance, other than like just him showing off some great stuff and then getting killed. He actually does something pretty well in this series. I love how each person is involved like with certain artifacts, like like basically you have the cuckoo clock of doom, the haunted mask, go eat worms. I love how they're incorporating the series, which eat the book and the circumstances to different characters. And I love how there's just like an overall like story to this. There is a thing that I don't like in they do a thing where I don't like is the it's kind of, I call it the sorry for not believing you trope.
Oh yeah.
I fucking hate that shit. They do this shit to like times like 10 in this show. But other than that, I think it's good. I'm excited to see what they do with season 2. But yeah, and the other show that I watched is The Bear season 2.
Oh yeah.
Fuck, it's so good. I'm not gonna go into too much about it, but I love The Bear so much. They managed to take that level of anxiety, like stress and tension, and even like with a side of hopefulness to a like they switch it up in the second season. And there is one episode where it's just like cameo city, like literally.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
But it's also like one of the best episodes in the show. And like, so for me, this is a little bit of a little backstory of me. I like whenever I'm like tense or like anxious, I bite my fingernails. I can't tell you like how I was biting my fingernails watching that episode because of just how tense it was. But even then, like, see, I'm glad they got renewed for season 3, but how season 2 ends off, it's like really like kind of like you're like left without any hope kind of type of thing. But yeah, The Bear season 2 is so good. It's amazing.
And that's all the shows?
Yeah, that's all the shows for me.
That's all the shows. So what'd you watch this week?
I watched the original Black Christmas from 1974. I think it's good. I mean, it's okay. It's an okay movie. I think it's pretty like it's a little slow. It's a little kind of boring, but I understand like the significance of the story. Like it's kind of like, if you want to have like this sort of, I mean, I wouldn't say it's a reach in my opinion, but like some people would say it's a reach. It's kind of like this like underlying thing of like misogyny. This like deranged killer is killing all these women. You don't really see the killer, which is really cool, and he also like is really like it's really eerie and haunting on how like he like of like what he does to his victims. Like I said, it's really boring and it's like really slow, but I understand the legacy it has. If you don't know the legacy of Black Christmas, pretty much, it has like throughout the film there's like these like POV walkthroughs of like the killer, and as he's killing his victims and stuff like that, and so pretty much John Carpenter, while we went up to the director Bob Clark and was like, hey, I have an idea for a sequel, and that sequel was Halloween. And of course, Bob Clark wasn't really interested in like presenting a sequel. So
That's crazy.
But John Carpenter made Halloween, and that was really the inspiration for Black Christmas. So a little tidbit for that. I also watched. Let me go back to my handy dandy letterbox.
500 Days of Summer.
Oh, well, before that, yeah, Godzilla -1, obviously. Yeah, 500 Days of Summer. It is great. That's a great movie. And
I hate her knobby knees.
Yeah, I hate her knobby knees. It's also, so basically how I got to watch 500 Days of Summer is that right now I am writing a script, and it's kind of like this like comedy adventure type of thing. I wanted it to be like a romance thing, but the person I was talking to in this Discord server mentioned 500 Days of Summer and how like you could, take elements from that story. And it's one of the things to where, there were two sides to this story. I think the scene that like hit me the most was the expectations versus reality scene. Basically, in 500 Days of Summer, it's about this guy who's really like in love with this girl, and she breaks up with him one day, and he's like really, really depressed about it. And it's kind of like it shows like in this like non-linear fashion on how like how the relationship was and how depressed he is afterwards. And there is a thing to where the protagonist is someone they're trying to make you sympathize with the protagonist, but like he is like this like self-proclaimed nice guy. And
yeah, I heard about that. He kind of sucks.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the parallel to where I was being discussed, like I was being explained by this character is like Scott Pilgrim, where like he's a protagonist, but like, he's really like a piece of shit. And then also like there is a perspective of like, oh, like, well, yeah, like Zoe Deschanel's character she's just like a woman who is not obligated to like this person back, but
she's a new girl.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. I mean, actually, you're not wrong, because in the story, she moves in from a town, so yeah, she is like the new girl. So yeah, 500 Days of Summer is really good, and like it's funny because like you wonder why Mark Webb has such great chemistry, with like he develops like characters with such great chemistry. And
did you watch that movie films and go, yes, this is the guy that should direct Spider-Man?
Yeah, it's like I understand, like how
it's 100% because he has Webb in his name,
right? Webb.
That's Sony's logic.
But I mean, yeah, so like when you watch the amazing Spider-Man films, you understand like the chemistry, like, oh yeah, well, why do they have such good chemistry, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone? And then you watch 500 Days of Summer, I'm like, oh yeah, it's good. But yeah,
I hate her 1960s haircut.
Yeah, it's a good movie. And then it's like but the ending is so funny. That's all I watched.
I watched the Lonely Island film Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping. It's good stuff. I've never seen a Lonely Island film before, so this is my first one. I've heard it's good, and it's one of those movies where I always see like clips of it go like viral on TikTok. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna watch this movie, and then watch some Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff. Andy Samberg's obviously doing his thing as Andy Samberg. There's a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine alums occasionally in there. Yeah, it was just really solid. It was really funny, and part of me, I don't know if I wanted to either like it more or I expected more songs. Not that that's not even necessarily like a fault of the movie. It's just what I was expecting, and it didn't happen. But yeah, it was really simple, but it was just really well done. And I don't really have a ton to say about it other than that it was a solid, fun time. If you're a Lonely Island fan or Andy Samberg fan, even, it's just good shit. It's good shit from them. They make good stuff. I don't know if you knew that. They make good stuff. Lonely Island's they're a good group.
Haven't heard of him.
Oh, fair enough. Is that the show?
That is a show.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to the Avengers podcast. If you want to follow us, we're at Avengers on Twitter. That's AVENGE Nerds, all one word. If you want to follow either one of us, you can reach me at @itzenith_ on Twitter. Where can they reach you?
At Touring Guy on Instagram.
Awesome. We also have a Discord if you'd like to join the conversation there. Those will be linked in the show notes. You can also check out our link tree for any additional links you may be interested in. You can also review the show in-app on Apple Podcasts. If you could leave 5 stars in a review, it would really help us out. Thanks again for listening to the Avengers podcast. We'll see you in the new year after Christmas.
Later.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.